Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, we are going to go over what is the best distillery and what the best distillery is to me of 2025 so far. So, look, take this with a grain of salt. This is my opinion. I want you guys to put in the comments your opinion on what the best distillery you think is. Now, let's get started. So, I am not going to put any of the newer guys on here, so spoiler alert, this will be legacy distilleries. However, I do have to give props to the newer guys who are making their own stuff, who I think will do great in the future. One of those is James E. Pepper, also Hard Truth. Not new, but relatively new when you compare them to the legacy distilleries, 1792, and also Green River, which is now Barton, so 1792 twice, but you guys get what I'm going, get where I'm going. So apologies for all the videos that have been blown out. I know trying to get the color right has been a challenge. Some of these videos have been super bright, and I am still working on that. Hopefully I got it perfect tonight, but give me some time, because we are going to get into the distilleries that didn't make it and why. And I'll gotta let you know what's in this glass. First distillery up is Jim Beam. Beam is not, they've got some solid products. You guys know how I feel about the Knob Creek. The Knob Creek single barrels, especially the picks, are some of the best value bottles out there on the shelf. Knob Creek 9, excellent bottle. These limited edition picks, if you can find these, if you run across these are amazing. The 108 single barrel by Jim Beam, I like. I mean, I even like Old Tub, Old Granddad, I'm a huge fan of. OGD 114. You guys, look, I am a Beam fan. I can't fit all of those bottles on the table, but I did put some bottles on the table that I want to talk about. This is the reason why I don't think Beam is necessarily doing it right, and this is why they're not my number one distiller. The bottles that they put out that are their limited bottles have been so, man. Booker's. I go back and forth with Booker's. It is a very expensive bottle for what it is, 7 years old. Yes, it's high proof. Some of these can be great, but some of these can just be like bland. Like, what the heck is that? And then you've got Little Book. Little Book, this is chapter 5. Dumb expensive. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm trying to keep, that's why there are certain criteria. So I should have said this at the beginning of the video. You've got to put out bangers, 1. 2, you got to put out reasonably priced bottles. And I don't know. Maybe those are just the 2, but I'm just saying. So you got to think about it. Reasonably priced bottles, bangers. 3, be consistent. All right. So that might give you a clue as to what the distillery is, or who the distillery is going to be. But, you know, just like I said, take this with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion. So these Bakers, the Bakers releases are also just hit or miss for me. So like, I've had some that were like 8-year mark that I thought were just bland. I've had some that was that 7-year mark, close to 8-year mark, that I thought were phenomenal. But these are just hit or miss. Yes, they're single barrel. Now, when they were this, if you find an old bottle of Baker's like this, pick it up. Thank me later, just pick it up. Those things are amazing. But when you get to a special release, a little bit more expensive than the other Bakers. I think this thing was $75. It's a high rise, 7-year. Couldn't wait to get it home. I was like, man, I'm gonna crack it and see if this, reestablishes my relationship with Bakers. It didn't. It didn't. That's why I said, like, Jim Beam, they're putting out hits and misses. I mean, Claremont Steep, awful. I mean, it was so bland, so light. It just wasn't good. I didn't have any of the Hardest Creek. I was afraid to buy the 2-year. Had the chance to get it. It was sitting right in front of me, and I passed on it because it was 2 years. But I think the store wanted like $150, and I think that was retail $170. It was something like that. But I know the Hardest Creek is just too expensive for me. All right, let's get to the next distillery. Next distillery up, Wild Turkey. So you guys know me, I am a turkey fan. Paper label all day. I don't even own a glass turkey. I think it is a little youthy, a little grainy. I am waiting on them to bring back that 8-year turkey that they plan on bringing out. They said they're going to run it right beside the new glass turkey. So they said that is their bread and butter. So they say we will be happy with the price as well. Not to mention that new release is just excellent. The 70th anniversary for Eddie Russell. Oh my gosh, man. I can't believe I even forgot to put it up on the table. But anyway, the reason why turkey didn't make the list is because Russell's 15 has went up in price every year. They're bringing it back out again this year. I don't know if the price is going to go up even higher. The Master Keeps, they have all gone up. I mean, just ridiculous prices. They are, I would say that they are consistent. They are pretty consistent because the 13s to me have been great. The 15 was good. A lot of people called it Bourbon of the Year. I didn't necessarily think that it was Bourbon of the Year. It was still a great product. But the glass turkey, like I said, man, they put that thing out and to me, it was grainy. It was youthful. It was like, I don't know. It's like there's nothing there. There's no there. And the Russells, the LLME that I got, that thing was good. It was really good. That is a hitter of a product. Some people say that the regular Russell's 10 is just bland. I find it enjoyable. My first bottle wasn't an LLME. It was, I think, LLMD or something like that. To me, that was good. So, and that's a low proof bottle. And you guys know, I don't always have to have high proof, but I love my high proof stuff. But like I said, the 13 that they released, good. The 15 that they released, excellent product. They are bringing the 13 back. I am hoping that they don't increase the price. I think it went from like 90, then to 100, then to 150. And I really don't want to see it go any higher than that. Did I pay $150 for the second bottle I got? Yes, and I think I paid around that price for the first bottle I got. But just the hikes in the prices is pretty much what kept turkey from being the #1 distillery. Let's get to the next distillery. Next distillery up is going to be Buffalo Trace. Now look, I like Buffalo Trace. I enjoy their products. I like the normal Buffalo Trace. One of my favorites is Eagle Rare. As you can see by the big one behind me, I am really feeling the Weller Full Proof. Shout out to Kevin at S&W, man. This pick is amazing. Still haven't gotten into my other pick yet from BK Miller, but I'm just letting that thing sit, man. No need to rush it. But yeah, Blanton's, consider that my 93 proof monster. Stagg Jr., amazing bottle. Elmer T. Lee, I do not like. To me, this bottle is garbage. Every bottle that I've had of Elmer T. Lee, I have not liked. I got a bottle back in, it was around 2013, walked into the Virginia ABC, saw it sitting on the shelf, and a buddy of mine was like, man, you got to get this. I think it's Elmer Lee or Elmer T. Lee or Elmer Lee. And I was like, okay, cool. So I walk in the store, see it, pick it up, get it home, and I'm like, what is this? So that kind of turned me off from getting any Elmers. So then I go into the store, see that they have this bottle close to my house, and asked them what it was. It was a price that I didn't want to pay because I know I don't like Elmer T. Lee, but I needed to put it on the channel. 99 bucks, bought it, got it on the channel. I don't touch this bottle. The reason why this bottle is this low is because I give out samples. Every once in a while, I'll go to it to see if it opened up, might pour myself a smidge, but I am not feeling this bottle. So one thing you guys need to understand out there is 9 times out of 10, when you finally sample a Buffalo Trace product, you're not going to be blown away. Is it going to be better than average? Yes. Do they make good products? Yes. But you're not going to be like blown away. Now, I got to give a shout out to Tommy because he had like a BTAC bourbon meetup, man. And got to give a shout out to Dennis too because Dennis brought a bottle of Coy Hill. And that bottle of Coy Hill was ridiculous. Now, I took my 10-year Horse Soldier. People were feeling the Horse Soldier. They were really liking that bottle. But that bottle of Coy Hill was ridiculous. Tommy cracked every BTAC he had. He had a Thomas H. Hamdy, he had GTS, and he had WLW. and we went through all of them. And GTS was holding its own. I was the only person of the night who felt like GTS was the best one. A lot of people were gravitating towards the William LaRue Weller. When I first cracked it, don't get me wrong, I was like, oh, this might be the best bottle of the night. But then going back to the GTS, picking up a little more spicy notes, a little more of that cherry in there, I was like, oh man, this is good. But, and this is why I gotta give a shout out to Dennis, I think that Coy Hill edged it out, man. I don't know. Look, you guys put in the comments how you feel about those two, because to me, that Coy Hill, and it was only like, I think 128 or 126 proof. And the GTS, it was great. It had all of those rich, older notes. I could taste the oak. I could taste the cherry. It didn't have like most of the Buffalo Trace products, you're going to get that grape. It had like a tinge of the grape, but it was like this pop of cherry, that raw spice in the back. Oh my gosh. But that Coy Hill was something special, man. But the reason why Buffalo Trace is not going on the list is because recently they have raised their prices. This Blanton's is up to $80 at the Virginia ABC. I mean, the only thing that they slightly went up on is the Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare went from $35.99 to $37.99 to now $42.99. Now, everything else has jumped up in price. I think there might be one or two bottles that didn't really go up too bad. I think the E.A. Taylor small batch might have been one of those. No, I actually think that went up to $50 at the Virginia ABC. But Blanton's just, it kills me. I only buy them when I need them, and I needed one, and I just walked into the store a couple days after the drop, and they had tons of Eagle Rare and tons of Blanton. So I was like, you know what? I need one. Let me go ahead and pick up one. Is it an $80 bottle? No. I was happy when that thing was going for $60. And all of the special releases they released, like they released like a $1,500 4-bottle 375 milliliters that came in like this package with like old school labeling on it. That thing was like $1,500. I was like, no, won't happen. Don't get me started on the Weller whiskey, the Millennium, the $7,500 bottle. I thought that was insane. I was like, there's no way I am ever paying that much for that bottle. Like I said, do they put out good stuff? Better than average? Yes. The Full Proof, one of my favorites. The George T. Stagg, one of my favorites. But it's not, they just, I don't know. They're not going to make Distillery of the Year in my book. Let's get to the next one. Next distillery up, and I know you guys are probably looking at me like, what in the heck is he talking about? You guys, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I am one huge fan of Heaven Hill. But the releases lately, and I have been loving the Larceny barrel proofs. The single barrel, I'm glad that they finally started releasing some single barrels. I did enjoy this thing, but I just felt like that it was something missing with it. This is a backup of the C924. I thought it was that good that I had to go and get a backup. The C924 ECBP, this is the backup. I did think it was that good. The more and more I go to that bottle, it's still good. It's still good. It was not as good as the C924 Larceny, but it's still good. I keep hearing mixed reviews on the A125. Had it sitting right in front of me a few times and just didn't pull the trigger. Matter of fact, one store I was at today had it. They had it for $90. Didn't want to spend $90. Like I said, if I see it and I'm just itching to buy something, I might pick it up just to give it a try. But it's like I'm hearing such mixed reviews on it, and everybody's like, it's so. I don't want to keep dropping $75 for a so product. That's the reason why Booker's was one of the first bottles in this video. The Evan Williams, this went from being a cheap bottle that you could buy to something that was supposed to be Kentucky only. Now it's not Kentucky only. Now the price has crept up a little bit. The Henry McKenna used to be one of my all-time favorite bottles to go to. Price crept up on this thing all the way up to $60, $70, depending on where you go. But to me, it is just, it is not worth it. It's a great bottle, but I just can't see myself like spending that much for it. Honestly, at this point in time, it's probably more like a $40 bottle. It is not something that you are going to be like head over heels for, but back in the day, like it used to be one of my absolute favorite bottles. The special release products that they have, they are kind of expensive. The Parker's Heritage, those are kind of expensive. The what is it? The Heaven Hill special release that come in that, you know, pretty box and pretty bottle. I've had that. The one that was the corn whiskey, people were calling it 20-year-old mellow corn. It didn't do it for me. It really didn't do it for me. Like I said, you've got to be consistent. You've got to have some bangers, and you've got to have some good prices. I think you guys will find those in the distillery that's coming up. Cheers. Let's get to the next distillery. If you guys have been watching the channel, you should have already known what the distillery of the year, in my opinion, is going to be for 2025, because they have just been putting out bangers, and they are bringing out more bangers. I mean, you've got the new Jack 10 coming out, the new Jack 12 coming out. Shout out to my man Brad. When I did the video of Jack 10 versus Jack 12, I actually picked the 10 over the 12. Now, I've been seeing videos where people have been doing all three of the new releases together. A lot of people have been liking that Jack 12, but they also have been calling the new Jack 14 contention for being in at least the top 10 to top 20. So it's like, to me, that is saying a lot. Now, when it comes to Coy Hill, like I mentioned earlier in the video, that Coy Hill at Tommy's Bourbon Meetup was amazing, man. But this right here is the best available bottle that you can get barrel proof wise on the shelf. I mean, this thing is amazing. It wasn't until I saw a video where Jason C said he just walks out of the store laughing at everybody coming in chasing the Stag Jr. He was like, this stuff just sits on the shelves. It does. And this bottle is amazing. This one comes in at 134.7 proof. I am not going to gatekeep. So if you are in the DMV area and can get to a Virginia ABC and you're looking at some of these Jacks, look for 134.7 proof. Look for barrel number 24-10120. This thing was bottled on 10/30/24, and it is from Barrel House 3-01. It's so good that I had to go back and get another one. I got it home that night, cracked it, and you guys, you know me. Lately, I've been gravitating more towards the JDS BBP Rise, but this thing right here, I'm starting to question now. I am really starting to question. I am getting like these heavy maple, you know how you get those brown like maple molasses cookies? I'm getting that in here. I'm getting a really deep, dark, rich chocolate. I'm getting a lot of char across the back. Not as bad as this one, but we'll get to that in a minute. This deep char in the back, just, I'm not picking up that banana note. That's the only thing until I come back to it. Now, when I put this side by side with another product, the banana note kind of creeps out. But on its own, I'm not getting it, which that is a note that I love in a bourbon, but you know, it is what it is. Other than that, it is just, it's super sweet, super rich, super viscous. You get all of those oak notes. This thing is amazing, man. Anyway, these are my birthday bottles, all except for this bottle right here. This was the one that I picked up. It was a day shy of being a birthday bottle. This right here comes in at 137 proof. Now, I got to give another shout out to my man Brad, because not only did he give me the samples to do, you know, the 10 and 12, he also gave me this bottle. This is 139 proof. This is the single barrel proof rye. For a while, I wasn't seeing the single barrel proofs over like 126. Every once in a while, I see them at 128. Then if I saw them at 130 or 131, if I didn't have one, I'd snatch it up. But to see this one sitting on the shelf at 134.7, I was amazed. So like I said, when I went back to get a backup, they had two more on the shelves, and I was like, so I picked this one up, and then I said, well, let me just see if it's the same bottle. The one behind it was 131. I was like, okay, I'm good. I got two almost 135 proof Jacks, but I have yet have yet to crack the Sinatra. Maybe you guys out there can tell me if the Sinatra is worth cracking. This one right here, I've enjoyed this thing, this Legacy. This thing is good, man. This Jack Daniel's, it's only 86 proof, but I think this label came out around 2014. I'm feeling that bottle, and I really do not like the regular Black Label Jack. And they say that that's all this is. This one is, yeah, like I said, 86 proof. This one right here, shout out to Wade. I was on a live, Wade's live, probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and he cracked his number 6. He said he had been waiting for somebody to tell him whether or not it was good. He cracked it. This thing is good. I got to get Wade some samples because we were talking about some other bottles. But yeah, Jack Daniel's is doing it right, man. The twice barreled rye, the 10, the 12, the new 14, and a good price. $150 if you can find it at retail. And it comes in at 126 proof. So you've got the what is it, the 10-year coming in at 97 proof. You've got the 12-year coming in at 107 proof. Then you've got the 14 coming in at 126 proof, man. Not to mention the single barrel proofs typically are around 6 to 8 years old and stay on the shelves. Consistent drops, consistent bangers, consistent prices from Jack Daniel's. Look, congratulations, Jack. You are the #1 distillery of 2025 so far, in my opinion. And with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out. Let's get it to a drop. Until next time.